Well, Chicago finally got a win against Detroit in Game 5, and Detroit's now up 3-2, and the series heads back to Detroit, where Chicago is minus 124 to get the win and force a Game 7, and Detroit is a plus 115 home dog to take the series. So at this point, it's not clear who has the momentum, who has the pressure on them, but it is clear that the Wings can hang with Chicago. Detroit coach Mike Babcock's schemes have worked well against the Hawks, and especially at home when he has last change. Chicago did play well in Game 5, and Jonathan Toews finally broke his scoring seal, ending a 10-game playoff scoring drought. But a big part of that was Chicago coach Joel Quenneville's efforts to get Toews away from Henrik Zetterberg, who effectively neutralized Toews in both games in Detroit. And now that Detroit will have last change at home for Game 6, Toews will very likely again be getting blanketed by Zetterberg all game long. So this game is huge, of course. If Chicago can win on the road here, they'll very likely be able to win the series back home in Game 7. And we're not likely to see any surprises at this point in the series, so this game is a very tough one from a betting perspective. The lines are razor sharp, and capping the game for any edge probably going to be based on intangibles. How desperate and hungry will Chicago be really? That's the key here. If they can bombard Jimmy Howard with shots on goal, they'll probably win. But Babcock has clearly outcoached Quenneville this series, and he'll almost certainly employ the same tactics that he successfully employed in previous home games. The question is, will Chicago's other stars step up? Patrick Kane needs to show up, Marian Hossa and others. And one factor here could also be that the health of Red Wings key defenseman Nicholas Kronwall, who took a huge hit in Game 5 and might be less than 100% for Game 6. So basically, we know what we're going to get here, and the lines are sharp. Chicago should still have a small edge, but just a small one, and the lines reflect that. So my pick here is going to be the same one that I gave for Game 4, which did lose, and I got burned by it. But I think it's okay for Game 6 at the current lines, and that's going to be on the over, buying down to 4, which is currently about minus 215. The over 5 is plus 117, but I prefer to take the 4 due to volatility factors. It's going to be an intense, speedy game with a lot of hitting, and at some point I do expect goals to sneak through one way or another. So it's not a huge play, but my pick on this one is going to be on the over 4 at minus 215, and I'll pass on the sides completely.